And we are streaming.
Welcome to the RawDawgers Sportscast Live. I'm Sean Watson.
I'm Ryan Kessler.
And
just living the dream.
Living the dream. Technical difficulties arise.
Always.
How are you feeling about that big win last week? Another huge win for the Browns. Game recap. 27-3.
It was everything I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Deshaun came out and obviously played his best game as a Brown. And the defense is it's continuing to be absolutely dominant.
Right. Getting into that recap a little bit, Stefanski, I thought he had a really good game plan with life after Chubb, if you want to say that. Building Watson's confidence. Definitely a short pass game. You could see it. I think I figured up the first 10 passes by Watson. They averaged somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 yards a pass. And that was including a 13 and 14-yarder in there. But I think it was really smart of Stefanski to try to get him right. Build his confidence up. We've talked about it a couple times.
Easy completions.
Yeah. Easy completions. Take the heat off of him. And then start loading up and going deep. Going a little bit deeper.
Right.
So Watson's confidence up with the short pass game. Lead the game 27 of 33 for a whopping 81% completion rate. 289 yards. So
looks like our screen has just froze again. I don't know why.
Fantastic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue.
Yep, go ahead.
Like I said, he started aired out a bit in the second half. He had a 43-yard completion to Cooper, 27-yard to DPJ, and a touchdown pass to Jerome Ford for 19. That Jerome Ford pass was pretty wide open.
Yeah.
But, we can scoot in here. We can get really, really. There you go. Hey, everyone. It's RawDawgers Forecast. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Help us. All right. It's a little commercial break.
Right.
So, the other thing, the big deal if you're a Browns fan, of course, it had no bearing on the outcome of the game, but the egregious call on Cooper. I don't know if I sent this video over to you or not. Stepping out of bounds that was blown dead by the ref who was right there.
Right. And
even the announcers were talking about, it might have been an inadvertent whistle. I'm like, why do you have the fucking whistle on your mouth, idiot?
It wasn't even close.
No. I mean, he was a good foot off. Do you have that video or not? It's all right if you don't.
No, I do not.
That's all right. I might have accidentally sent it to the wrong... I might have sent it to the wrong account, so I apologize. Defensively for the Browns, all started with, to me, it all started with stopping Derrick Henry.
Mm.
Putting the game on Tannehill's shoulders, that's exactly what he did. 11 for 20 with a long of 9 yards in there, so you back that one out. So he was only averaging 1.8 yards per carry.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So
it could not get going whatsoever.
That's the first thing I believe that we really needed to do. We talked about it last week. You stop him, you put the game squarely on Tannehill's shoulders, and Tannehill doing Tannehill things at that point. Just 13 of 25 for just over 100 yards passing.
And with the 5 sacks, it was definitely under.
Yeah. Passing and getting 5 times, 3 times. Well, actually, technically 3.5 times by Myles Garrett himself. There was a half a sack in there, Bronco, that they tagged or doubled up on that. I think Alex Wright had another sack in there.
Mm-hmm.
Was that him? Yeah. So 8 QB hits overall, 4 passes defended successfully by our secondary, 2 our man Denzel Ward, and you just hope to God Denzel Ward stays healthy. We hope that the entire defense stays healthy.
I mean, yeah, But with Newsom and Emerson, and Mike Ford came and played well. The other rookie that they got from Northwestern played well.
Yeah.
They've really built the defense to withstand a couple injuries. Obviously, it has definitely the best depth that we've seen in Cleveland in a very long time. So.
Right. And you went ahead and put that stat out earlier on our page this week. I thought that was fantastic. You put it on the RawDawgers page after that game. What was that stat again? Something since 1978, right?
Yeah, they've let up the fewest yards in the first 3 games since 78, I think.
Yeah, 1978.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal. 9 tackles for a loss. I also thought it was great to see some other people really step up in the game. JOK had a good game. Anthony Walker Jr., Alex Wright. We talked about his sack, but also Anthony Walker Jr., Alex Wright. JOK we talked about his getting sack.
Yeah.
So you're rushing 4. You don't even, and when they rush 5, it's almost as if it looks unstoppable.
Yeah,
rushing 4.
What they're doing, which is what we were yelling at them to do last year, but you didn't have the bodies. I mean, even when Clowney was out there, he definitely didn't have his best season of his career.
Right.
But you got guys that can handle their gaps on the inside, and what they're basically doing is whether it's Walker, JOK, even Taki, they're filling all the gaps up front with 5 people and letting the thoroughbreds we got out on the outside.
Sure.
And even Grant Delpit can cover your slot, can cover outside wide receivers, can cover your tight ends, running back. Thornhill's great playing the deep safety. So they just have the right guys in the right spots doing exactly what they're good at, and it's very refreshing.
And Delpit's been an animal, so
yeah.
I mean
he was an animal last year.
He was. This year, he's in that contract year, Pro Bowl, playing like a Pro Bowler. He was a little more quiet in this game, but that's okay because we had other people like JOK that was just eating.
Right.
So Delpit 2 for 2, 2 solo tackles there. So I think that really lets us know that if we did sustain an injury on defense, not saying that we want that, but there's a possibility if you sustain injury, at least in the linebackers or like we did last year, which was horrific, that we could still not miss a beat.
Yeah.
Now cluster injuries, that's a different story. But
yeah, like what the Ravens are dealing with.
Last year under Joe Woods though. I mean, you had the fucking water boy go down, and all of a sudden we're giving up 2 touchdowns. Fuck that guy, all the way up and down.
Well, and the funny thing is too our defense did that this week, and Joe Woods let up a 17-point lead last Sunday in the 4th quarter.
So good.
So yeah, it was obviously that Joe Woods, the guy, I'm sure is a good dude, but he was just not the guy for what we wanted to get accomplished with who we had.
Joe Woods doing Joe Woods things, just like Tannehill did.
Well, and he was one of the bigger reasons why we didn't have shit in the middle of the defensive line, because he just thought we didn't need it.
Sure.
It's like, well, you need something better than the worst ever.
Well, as far as speaking of, talking about that defensive line, we started seeing it in game 1, them moving Miles around almost like a stud linebacker position and moving him around different places.
Yeah, and he's dropping in coverage rarely, but like they're mixing up things in a very good way.
I mean, Joe Woods was like, you basically have the left edge. That's it.
Yeah, you line up this way, and that's all you're doing.
That's all you're doing.
And they weren't doing any stunts, any games.
And Miles is loving it. I mean, we saw it in week 1 where he's doing the crossover before he goes over the center.
Well, then, Tennessee's, those 2 tight ends are following him.
That was another great clip. Probably should have brought that one up because people didn't see it, but because I didn't see the one where he's doing the crossover against Burrow until, it was brought up. I think McAfee might have brought it up on his show, and then I looked it up and I'm like, wow. I didn't even see it during the game.
Oh, they're just having fun. And, even how disastrous that Monday night game was. Like, the defense was like, we know the offense is going to hit it at some point.
Right.
And what they have right now on defense. And like you said, like, very minor injuries on that side. Newsom missed last week, but I think he's going to play today or tomorrow. And, they're staying fairly healthy, mostly because they're never on the field.
Right.
It's a very different type of game that they're playing this year.
It is.
And I really think, too, that, we had the two interceptions against Pickett.
Yes, I believe so. I know it was
one
by
was a
Helmet
fumble.
for sure.
The one
That's
was a
right.
fumble.
Technically, it was a fumble.
So, I think they keep playing the way they're playing, the pressure that they're putting on.
Right.
They're going to start getting more turnovers.
And boy, right now, I'm licking my chops of when Pittsburgh has to come to Cleveland.
I cannot wait to be
because
there.
it's going to be a different story, barring any of those cluster injuries we were talking about.
Well, that and just playing smart. And, I think another thing people need to realize, too, like, Deshaun's never been in, like, a big rivalry game. They didn't really have a big rivalry in Clemson. Houston. AFC South, there's, like, no...
Clemson, I guess you could say Alabama, but it wasn't in conference.
Well, and it's not like a storied rivalry, or maybe...
Right.
Do they even play South Carolina anymore?
Well, South Carolina's SEC.
Right.
I mean, you could, I guess, maybe, but at the time that Clemson, even during the Trevor Lawrence years, I mean, Florida State wasn't on the up and up. Miami wasn't good.
No.
Syracuse sucks.
Well, they were like, Clemson was the...
North Carolina,
they're the
not
only,
good. NC State, not good.
The only viable ACC team.
And then you had Notre Dame went ahead and, they went to the conference hoping that they could get, an easier football schedule, at least on the football end. Of course, they still have, the USC game that they, play every year. And, of course, they play Coast Guard, every fucking year. They never scratch that one off their ticket, but whatever. So, the other big news this week, and I thought that this was good. Hopefully, you have the video on this. The Roquan Smith comments, and if you don't know who Roquan Smith is, basically he got drafted by the Bears. I believe he might have been a first round pick by them. I can't keep track because the Bears have usually multiple first round picks. Unless they decide to trade him away for a better day. But anyway, so they had Roquan Smith, just an absolute. He made some comments this week in front of the podium. This is all the rage with the Browns fans. Go ahead.
Offense, what do you see? What is going to be the challenge of this week?
Obviously they're down, arguably like their best player in Chubb. A lot of respect for him. Guy I played with in college and whatnot, so definitely thinking about him. But despite that, knowing that they're going to come out, try to do what they have to do to get the job done. And I think, Watson at the helm, they're still going to try to run the ball. I think that's hats off to their head coach, and I think that's something that he wants to do, run the ball. So that's our main priority, stopping the run. And then I think they're going to try to get the ball to number 2, Cooper, and then put 8 in a lot of situations as well. And then obviously their tight ends come alive. So I don't think it'll be anything different, minus like Chubb, but I still think they're going to try to run the ball.
When you prepare for a guy like Watson, who maybe struggled a little bit when he first took over the job in Cleveland, do you still go in assuming the guy you saw back in 2019 and 2020, that he's fully capable of being that guy?
Yeah, absolutely. Anything a man done once, I'm sure they can. The likelihood that they can do it again is very possible. So, got a lot of respect for the guy playing the position, one of the toughest positions in the league to play, in my opinion. So, I think we're gonna have to just come out, do what we have to do, and whatever it takes to get the job done. And if we do that, I feel like we'll be in good standings.
Obviously, you're going up against their offense. Is there any part of you, and you're going up against a team that has really good defense, ranked number 1 right now, that it's kind of sets some pride there in facing a team that you guys both have against?
I think this is week 4. You're not defined off being the best defense in the league through week 4. I think, it's a 17-game season, so it's what you're going to do late in the season. But hats off to those guys. I haven't watched them, so not really sure. I know they got some good players over there and whatnot, but I haven't really watched them, so I really don't care too much, if I'm being perfectly honest. Just more focused on our defense and what we're going to do to make sure we come out victorious in this game.
Is that more broadly true for you, that there's really not a lot of value to you in paying attention to what other defenses are doing?
I'm trying to see what I can actually gain from watching them. I don't think personally I can gain anything from watching their defense, and from what I hear, just based off in teaming, they play a completely different style. of defense, But hats off to those guys for what they've done thus far in this season. I look forward to Sunday, and I think, we do what we have to do and play our style offensively and defensively, then we'll come out victorious.
Roquan, you've been with the Ravens long enough now to have ventured into each of these AFC North cities. How would you describe Cleveland in particular, or the division in general, when you go in there as the enemy, the intensity and whatnot?
Yeah, you go in there as the enemy to go take over, and that's our plan, to actually go take over. I think they call it the dog pound. I consider myself a dog, so I'm right at home in that place. So I'm excited to get back in there, and I know they're a physical football team, but so are we. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the most physical football team that come out of there, and whoever is the most physical football team in that game, that's going to come out victorious. And your question about the division, I think, my opinion, I think it's the best division in football, like without a doubt, if you look at it from top to bottom.
Along those lines, how much do you embrace this 4-week stretch where you have 3 road games in the division? It's a challenge, but also knowing if you fare the way you guys want to, what that could mean for you guys in the big picture of the division and everything down the road.
Honestly, I love it. I love a challenge. At the end of the day, I love looking something square in the face and saying, bring it on, whatever it is. Chin up, chest out. I live by that. Sunsets, no regrets. So I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait.
The villain role, on the road. It seems like that's something that you all challenge for us. You always talk about it, like being a bad guy in the city. Is that villain role something that you kind of embrace when you go in these atmospheres?
I definitely, think about that. But at the end of the day, you're considered the bad guy because you're going into essentially another man's house and you're trying to take over. Like his wife, kids, everyone there to watch them. So you going over to beat their tails in front of their wife and kids. So when you think about it from that perspective, like any man's gonna, fight to the death from that point. I know if that's me in that case, I know I would. So I think about it from that standpoint. I'm just going in, just like I prepare for any other game. Play to the whistle, play physical, and hit anything that moves.
Anyway, so the biggest part of that, I knew it was kind of a lengthy clip there, but what he's talking about, we're going into another man's house in front of his wife and kids, and we're going to go whip some tail in there. Now, I've watched this clip a couple times. Do you think the reporters were trying to bait him into doing or saying something? And then because of his retraction, it almost just like I know I would. So whether it be that or not,
it's like I've listened to it a couple of times this week, and it's not really egregious.
No, it's not.
But
it's
if you're given any you can still take that as whatever you want and roll with it.
Sure. And I think
bait wise, yeah, probably they're probably trying to. I think that's starting to come up a little bit more now as they want to have more shit talking every week.
Well, I think JOK responded to it, and he basically said, not that we need any bulletin board material, but it doesn't hurt to have some either.
Right.
So the Ravens, going back to Roquan Smith, he was traded to the Ravens last year before the trade deadline. We're like, rolling our eyes because we know that, what we're up against.
Right.
Of course, we beat the Ravens in the second game of the series.
Should have won that first game, too.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson didn't play in that game. The Pro Bowler did.
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that guy.
Huntley.
Yeah, Huntley. Yeah. So, I don't know. As far as my take on it, I don't know. Take it as you will, but I'm going to go ahead and clip that every single time, and we'll make sure we keep that clip.
Right.
And I can't wait for the Browns to just go ahead and put his tail between his legs as they go back to Baltimore.
And honestly, they need this win too to kind of.
Yeah.
We haven't really beat up on Lamar. The one time we did beat him when he started, he got hurt. That was 21. That was when our defense was playing pretty well too. But they're a different team. And the offense that they're running doesn't scare me at all. They're like, Lamar, if he runs on, I think him running is the only way they're going to really put any drives together.
Right.
Which, good luck. We haven't given any type of running to anyone.
That's why it makes this defense different facing Lamar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
And the man coverage that you play, okay, if you want to throw those 4-yard hitches, it's going to get picked at some point.
Sure. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Ravens-Browns game this Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Browns are 2.5-point favorites. I don't know if that line might move, but at least so when you're considering home field advantage, basically they're saying on a neutral field, the Ravens may be a half-point better or at least even with the Browns. I don't see it.
I don't either.
I just don't see it. We're going to break down some stuff here.
This line and the Dolphins line makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I know. Cowherd was out on that Dolphins line too. Although Buffalo, his take was, well, Buffalo generally has been they whoop up on the Dolphins at home. Well, I don't know because last year
the playoff game they almost lost whoever that backup was.
Yeah. Well, and the Dolphins, that was a snowball game. That's when they were the fans were throwing snowballs from the bleachers, and they were about ready to go in. But that was the game in Buffalo. Of course, Buffalo lost, I believe, week 1 last year, like 21-20 down in Miami. And so we're getting off topic a little bit. But, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either.
I would have, if Deshaun wasn't playing, that would be the spread for me.
Mm-hmm.
But him playing, their defense isn't, it's good, but it's not overwhelming.
Well, quick prediction, though. Miami going into Buffalo. Now, Buffalo's defense, though,
has played well.
They've played well here for the first few weeks, and they're right up there, getting top 5.
I think it's, Miami 27-21, something like that.
Okay. Well, we definitely know last week Denver won it.
Oh, Jesus.
And didn't they play the Chargers before that, too?
Who?
Miami? No, that was the Vikings. The Vikings played the Chargers.
Well, I think they played in week 1, didn't they? And it was
they
like 36-34.
So we know the Chargers defense isn't good.
Yeah, the only real question mark for me with Miami is their defense. I was watching some Bill Simmons this week, and that's what he's, some of these early hot offenses, they don't really keep that going all the way. You'd rather take the historic defense than the historic offense.
Sure.
So, and that's I really hope that matchup happens in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a great matchup.
Yeah,
whether it's in Cleveland or Miami.
Yeah.
Which
it would be great.
They're undefeated still, so they have the edge to have that home
Sure.
field advantage. But
So, Browns-Ravens this Sunday. What do the Browns have to do on defense? They are now the number 1 overall defense.
And basically
defensive team in
every category other than turnovers.
Yeah.
And it's not even close.
No. Yeah, it's like there's a gap there for yards per game. It's up, I don't know, it's at 100 yards, I think.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. So
they're giving up less than 200 yards a game.
So we last week talked about some injuries that the Ravens had going into that Colts game. Whether you believe that the refs got it wrong in the overtime, and they probably did. They probably did. It was another terrible call.
Kind of like they did last year.
We're only through week 3, and there's been all kinds of shit calls in whatever games we're watching.
We could have a whole episode on that.
Yeah, we could. So, but it looks like the Ravens are getting players back this week. They had 7 starters out. 3 of those were on defense against the Colts last week. Of course, they still had Justin Tucker, and he missed that one that would have sealed the game for him. So, which is a rarity.
Yeah, even at 62 yards.
So, Ravens will be getting back Justice Hill this week, it looks like, running back. So, even when Hill and Gus Edwards were playing together, they're sharing the workload. But it's been still the biggest concern, you brought it up too. It has to be Lamar Jackson as a rusher.
Yeah.
That's basically the stopping point. This last week we had to stop Derrick Henry. This week we have to stop Lamar, make him throw the ball. Jim Schwartz already – go ahead.
Well, people think that we have to play somewhat or somehow have to play differently. They've been using spies every game with they're giving a tunnel for whoever the quarterback is to step up into, and that guy who's spying comes up and changes where he needs to go in the pocket, and then it usually ends up in a sack.
In case you didn't see it, yes, I am drinking Shock Top. If you guys Shock Top that you want to sponsor us, that would be fantastic.
That would be great.
I'm covering up the orangish head there. There you go. Shock Top. Fantastic. Jim Schwartz already came out this week basically stating that they're going to use a proactive approach, bring the pressure to Lamar instead of most teams where they just try to seal Lamar off.
Well, like you remember, I think it was last year where Miami, or it might have been 2 years ago, where they basically did cover zero the whole game and blitzed him. You know, he's mobile, but if you contain him in that area and don't let him just stand back there and have time to really make moves and all that stuff.
Right.
It's the way to go.
Sure. Any concern with this wide receiver, these wide receivers? Looks like Beckham Jr. is he's questionable. Well, unless he got rolled out today for sure. But I should have looked at who practiced on Friday. But at least Beckham. I know Duvernay's in. I think Bateman might be out still, and they're either getting Bateman back or that he's out. So, and then, of course, the other big one we have to, if you want to say it's another big one, is Zay Jones, the rookie from Boston College. You know, we had our eye on him, too. Of course, we weren't going to get him.
Zay Jones. You mean Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers. I'm sorry. Not Zay Jones. Who the hell is Zay Jones? Okay. I put some shit together there. So, yeah, Zay Flowers. Yeah, there it is. Baltimore Ravens. What do we got going on as of yesterday? Game status.
Bateman out.
Okay, Beckham's out, too.
Odell out. Gus Edwards, concussion protocol. I think Kyle Hamilton's going to play. Hill's probably going to play. Humphrey's out.
So is Gus Edwards out then?
I don't know yet.
For
What does it
them?
say?
I know it says full
Now
practice Friday.
Now they're Ajabo and Owe, their two better pass rushers, are out, even though Clowney's been their best pass rusher, which says something.
Right.
Doubtful Ronnie Stanley. I heard he may play, but even if he does, I don't think it matters. Miles usually eats him up.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. And really, I know all week we've been, they've had Deshaun is questionable. He's going to play, folks.
Yeah, no, he already told, I think yesterday, he told Mary Kay Cabot he's playing.
He's playing. So
he's going to have the bye week to rest up.
Yeah. So, any concern, though, with Flowers, you think, here? Of course, at this point, I mean, you have Beckham out and Bateman's out, right? So you got Duvernay, and, of course, you got Mark Andrews, which generally we have a pretty good track record of containing Mark Andrews.
Last couple times,
correct. And he hasn't had that big of a season so far.
No, he's been banged up, so.
So we're going to see what happens with that. But it definitely has to make you feel better because you got Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews and Duvernay.
Yeah, they're going to have to bet that they can run the football, which, good luck.
Good luck. Right. And if Gus Edwards or Justice Hill don't play, that means old man Melvin Gordon's going to be coming in.
Right.
And sharing snaps with one of
them.
them.
And Lamar's been fumbling the ball a lot this year. I think you're going to see a couple of those. And they might try to force feed the ball to Mark Andrews. So, you know, I think you put your money on Delpit and JOK in coverage responsibilities. Especially, I just really don't see them having a lot of time to throw. Like, they're just going to be playing with their hair on fire. I think we can jump out to an early lead, too. I really like our skill position players, even without maybe Njoku, which we'll get to.
Right. We're going to get to that.
But I still like our matchups there. So, and they should be able to run the ball decently, better than we did against the Titans.
Well, so definitely though, still we're not giving the talent edge to them over the Cincinnati Bengals when we played at Week 1.
No,
I mean, you had the rain and the Joe Burrow calf and oh my God.
Well, Lamar's not. He's not a good throw against man coverage quarterback.
He's not a good thrower of the football, right? Yeah. I'm going to tell you that. Anything over 10 yards, he's not good. And I have the numbers going to back it up, and I know you guys are always on my shit about, well, the guy wins. Just stay tuned, because I got some good stuff for you here. So, definitely not the talent. I might be able to make the argument that I don't know if they have the wide receiver talent that Tennessee had.
Probably not. Not
but
with the injuries.
I'm not comparing Tannehill with Joe Burrow or with Lamar Jackson. Where Tannehill's more of a pocket style passer,
right?
But so is Burrow.
And he had to make 2 really good throws to even get a couple first downs in that game,
right?
There's no way that Lamar Jackson's hitting those throws.
No, No.
Maybe one, but he's probably gonna be 11 to 27 for like 115 yards.
Right. So what I was going to get to here is, like I said, I'm going to die on this cross. Lamar Jackson wins basically second. He's basically second winning percentage behind only Mahomes with a minimum of 17 games. So, I mean, I'm not counting, Cooper Rush. He doesn't get counted in here. I'm not even counting the boy out in San Francisco, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's only had 11 starts.
He's undefeated.
But, yeah. And he's fantastic.
Right.
So, but I still believe that he's not a great passer in football. Really close to Jimmy G on winning percentage, too. So, once again, I'm not comparing Lamar to Jimmy G. Although, if I have to take a pass, I'm probably taking one from Jimmy G, at least in the first 3 quarters.
Right.
Fourth quarter, Jimmy G is going to do his shit and probably turn the ball over. Of course, he turned the ball over 3 times last week. One was failed, against the Steelers.
Right.
But, so, as far as completion percentage, he's only behind Herbert so far this year. But when you look
throwing
at
a lot of short passes.
Yeah,
It's like, 6 yards of
right.
an attempt.
But when you look at his attempts, he's at 86 behind Zach Wilson and Justin Fields on attempts. Now, usually the game script for the Jets and the Bears lead to, hey, we got to start passing the ball like in second quarter.
Right.
Okay, so, I mean, I get that. Brees Hall hasn't really done shit for the Jets either. Of course, they played Dallas, and their rush defense is fantastic. So, touchdown completion percentage for Lamar, he's at 2.3%, which is behind Zach Wilson, Josh Dobbs, and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
That's this year, folks. He's 2.3%. Yeah. So, basically, he's also rating he is behind Baker Mayfield and Josh Dobbs in rating at 95. So, basically, my take is he's not putting it on his receivers when it counts, despite being tied with Mahomes in yards per average at 7.1. Mahomes with 8 touchdowns, Lamar with only 2. Of course, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, too, both against the Colts last week.
Right.
So, 2 touchdown passes Lamar has this year.
Weren't they both against Cincinnati?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe they were. They were. Of course, he has 2 rushing touchdowns, but Fields also has 1 and has only rushed 24 times versus Lamar at 32. So he's only taken off 2/3 of the amount of times that Lamar has.
Right.
Or, planned runs too, which Fields gets those too. I guess you shake up Lamar and you're going to beat him. Easily with our back end. Should be a much easier task than it was with Burrow for our secondary, I would think, especially with the wide receivers definitely being out now.
And they just don't stress you down the field.
Right. And here's my other take. Of course, Schwartz has been doing a lot of this man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
We get that, again, just like we played against Cincinnati. You're going to have your spy that you talked about.
Yeah, you just need your edge guys to play disciplined.
And we can definitely help send more guys after Lamar,
Mm-hmm.
whether we go ahead and do those 5-man fronts with the blitz. It's amazing, though, that you can go ahead and basically get a full-on blitz with 5 guys.
Yeah. Well, it's because they're running stunts and they're...
and we're just awesome.
Right, they're just blowing people off the ball.
It looks like half the time we got 4 men up there. It looks like it's a blitz, but that's just because everybody does what they're supposed to do.
Right.
They're beating all the opponents on the line.
Yeah, and I think this might be a game, too, where Zadarius Smith gets himself a couple sacks.
Nice. I'd love to see that for Z, definitely.
Because he's generating a lot of pressure. He just hasn't got home yet.
So come at me, folks, if you want to about Lamar Jackson, but those are the numbers. Those are the numbers this year, right now.
Yeah, and I think Cincinnati game, they thought it was turning around, and it's not helping them either that their wide receivers can't stay healthy. Bateman can't stay healthy, and we know OBJ can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's just that point in his career where
quite honestly, if OBJ was in, I'm not even worried about that guy.
No.
I'm just not.
But it gives
because
you...
he's not OBJ of the New York Giants.
Right.
Okay.
It gives them better than what they have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think
and that guy,
Bateman and OBJ...
Didn't he get a guaranteed one year, $18 million, I think?
Yeah.
So, hey, good job, Ravens.
Right.
So offensively, what do the Browns need to do, Ryan?
I think early in the game, try to see what your running game is going to look like. I think a lot of this game is going to be out of the shotgun. I don't think you're going to see Deshaun under center a whole lot. Maybe in the second half, once they build a lead, they might go that route and do some play action out of that. But I think game script should be a lot like Tennessee. Get them in a rhythm early. Take a shot once you move the sticks a couple times, but keep them honest. But kind of be balanced. Don't let them keep them in the game with turnovers. Let's actually have the first game where we don't turn the ball over.
Absolutely.
Last week we had the fumble. So all they have to do, honestly, is take care of the ball. I don't even know if you have to get in the end zone in this game to win, but I think they will. I think they're going to move the ball pretty well against Baltimore. Their secondary is beat up. They got a couple really good linebackers, but up front, decent run stoppers, not the greatest pass rush. Our offensive line should do fine against those guys. I just come out and play your game.
Yep. So Ravens defense is ranked 11 overall, 8 in the rush, 11 against the pass. Of course, we also have to remember it probably was padded a little bit playing Gardner Minshew last week. Although they lost
and
the
Joe
game.
Burrow.
And Joe Burrow, correct. Very good. Joe Burrow definitely
he's not
not
played
having a
well
great
against.
season.
Yeah, he hasn't played well against anybody this year. So.
No, he hasn't. So I really don't see why the Browns can't have a decent game out of the rushing attack either. So I dug this up. Moss for the Colts last week, 30 attempts for 122. Plus he had a receiving touchdown. So definitely I think that you could you see Hunt or Ford have another receiving touchdown?
Yeah, I really think, too, they're going to clean up some of the blocking issues they had on some of the screenplays we have, even though a couple of them went for 10-plus yards. There's opportunities when they do these screenplays for it to go. And
you could break one.
Very long. So I think if they clean up some of the blocking issues, because it's 4 against 5 or 4 against 1, and the one guy makes the tackle, it should never happen. So I think Elijah Moore gets a screen and busts it for 30-plus yards. I think Hunt has the ability to get 1-2 and maybe break one. So I could definitely see the running backs get another receiving touchdown, even though Jerome Ford kind of looks like a receiver out there.
Yeah.
So he's really versatile. But I like you said, I don't see any reason why we can't scrap together a 100-plus yard day on the ground between everyone. So
yeah, this definitely it's definitely not the Titans' rush defense.
Right.
Okay.
And they don't have Calais Campbell anymore.
Yes.
So,
great point.
He was a big
point.
Gap killer there.
Right.
So
my take, I think Stefanski needs to provide a dump out for Watson, just like he did in the last game.
No, because they're going to blitz.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's why I think the screen game is going to be there.
Right. I would attack that beat-up secondary defense with some long balls once you get them biting, just kind of like we did with Tennessee. Should be really kind of a similar game plan on the offensive side of the ball.
I just think you'll run the ball a little bit better.
Yeah. Yes. I think you can definitely get down on possibly Murray over the top. I'm waiting to see a big game by Elijah Moore. I was also...
It was there.
Yeah.
It was there.
He's definitely... I think he's averaging somewhere in the 8 or 9 targets a game range right now. So...
He's going to break one.
He's going to break one, I think. I agree with you.
I think he gets a deep ball, too, this week, and I think we finally connect with Goodwin.
No, I mean, Goodwin, I'd love to see him get one over the top and just
the weather's not going to be an excuse at all this week. So.
I mean, definitely, Amari's going to see a lot of attention. He's going to get, he's going to get the guy over the top.
6 to 10.
He's going to get it because his route running's so good.
Yeah.
He's going to get his. But yeah, I definitely like to see Elijah Moore get a little confidence in what we hope is going to be our number 2 receiver, going forward. Definitely like to. So what are you thinking? Who out of that receiving core, Cooper, DPJ, and
I think
Elijah Moore.
Cooper has the largest yard total.
Yeah, I agree. I think that will too.
Maybe not catches.
If you had to pick a touchdown score just for our bettors out there, I'm leaning on Elijah Moore. You know who else I'm leaning on? Akins. Now that we got the Njoku, we got that's a little sneaky bet there, right there. We're going to give you some props.
That's actually not a bad bet at all.
I think it's a fantastic bet. Although Baltimore is really good against.
Bryant. Yeah, because he just somehow gets a touchdown.
I know. You're right. But even though Baltimore generally has a pretty good defense this year against tight ends, but once again, the teams that they've played so far, I was going to say with Njoku, but we're going to get into that. But Njoku, I don't even know if they faced anybody. Probably nobody on the Colts, nobody on the Bengals that I would put at the caliber of Njoku.
No.
And whether he's still questionable right now. So, but anyway, like I said, Njoku definitely could have a game if he plays. Akins would be my guy. I think he could definitely get a tight end touchdown there, like inside the 10. Once again, more though. I mean,
I still think Cooper gets one this week too.
Yeah, you think Cooper,
especially with Humphreys out,
right? And I'm going to tend to disagree with you a little bit on this. I think we do need to get it in the end zone. And the reason I'm saying that is because of everybody that is on that team. I don't want it coming down to a field goal kick. And not that Dustin Hopkins hasn't been great, and he has been great so far. But I don't want to have to go mano-a-mano.
Well, I don't either, but I'm just saying, I think defensively, they might hit 10.
Hell, you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Lamar fumble the ball again and get a scoop and score on defense.
Mm-hmm. This might be the week where that happens.
It could be. We might have to bet that.
Is it 0.5 or 1.5 interceptions this week for Lamar?
I haven't looked at that yet. I'm going to look at it later tonight.
I think they get an interception, and I think they get a fumble recovery. He's fumbled the ball like 2 or 3 times in every game.
Right. So just like you said too, I think you keep the turnovers down because I think if we lose the field position battle, it becomes a close game. Tucker can definitely make us pay.
Yeah.
If you get down there and for some reason and it's like 6-6 and I don't want to go up against Tucker for the game winner. Definitely not. Any weather, I haven't looked at that yet. Any weather,
perfect,
decent, just like last game. Okay, no wind or anything, no real wind to speak of. Okay, all right. Anything you want to include on this game coming up? Actually, it's tomorrow. We're recording a day later this week, but so tomorrow, anything you want to bring up?
No, I just think we're going to see another good game out of Deshaun. I just said that because I think our defense is going to play really well. I think, honestly, this team, if you hit 20, they're going to be hard to beat offensively, and you're clean on the turnover sheet. So hit 20 points, don't turn the ball over. It's going to be a win.
It's going to be a win. Yep, I agree. I think that's a great number, too, is 20. It really is the way our defense is playing. So, all right. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on the crying Jordan segment.
Well, and I think, too, we need to start off with what we've been talking about.
Yes, the David Njoku news that just broke today. So I went ahead and took the liberty of making a video, and all the Adam Sandler fans out there are going to appreciate this. So apparently, I think it was it last night? I think it was last night, which I thought that it was like a fire, like in the kitchen area, but he sustained burns on his face and on his hands
from lighting his fire pit.
Yeah, lighting his fire pit. So I don't know if Big Chief was out there about the Pray to the Rain gods. I have no idea what the fuck he was doing.
He was definitely a little tipsy.
But yeah, I'm sure. Maybe him and Aaron are out there with some ayahuasca and they were just, living it up, hitting the hash.
Right.
I have no idea. But so Big Chief definitely could be out tomorrow, which thank you, Njoku, for being a fucking dipshit.
Right.
Probably putting Molotov cocktails on the fucking bonfire to try to get a lit. And the shit blows off up in his face. So.
Using pure gasoline.
Right, go ahead with the video here. Fantastic. So I created that one. You need to go over on TikTok. Definitely follow us on TikTok too. We have a lot of good shit that's on there. You definitely want to get it. If you get a chance, you have the app and you're not afraid of the, Chinese spyware. Get over on TikTok and check out and like our page. And, of course, share any videos that are on there. It is also up on our YouTube channel and now it's a short, but definitely had to get that one out there. Ryan, do you want to go ahead and start with one of your crime Jordans? So
Yeah, another somebody who just got cut today, right?
yeah, he
Breaking
just
news.
right before we started the pod. Go ahead.
Kind of, I'm giving the crying Jordan. He's kind of my hero. We'll go ahead and look here. Allegedly arrested in Vegas for stealing ex-girlfriend's items and burning them in says her backyard, but it was actually he took the shit to his backyard and lighting them on fire.
So go ahead.
And sent her videos of doing it. So like when you don't give a fuck anymore, that's your man right
So,
there.
you know, we had Perry on Winfrey, something that kind of, a little bit, we covered a few pods back, doing some similar shit. Basically leaving the phone in a fucking alley
Right.
so that it can be used against him later on. So Chandler here. So go ahead. So he actually went to his old residence where she's still living, or how did that work, or just her new residence?
It must be her new residence. Stole her shit, which I'm sure is probably his shit.
Yes.
You know,
Great point.
how
That's
these things
great
happen.
point. Right.
And then he takes it and goes back to his house, into his backyard, lights them on fire, takes videos of it, and sends it back over to her like a fucking savage.
It takes videos and sends it to her.
And
What an idiot.
yeah, there's his mugshot's great too.
Yeah. Did you keep that one on there or not?
No,
Okay. All right.
but
That wasn't him, but
that was great.
that was good though.
But also, we'd be remiss to not CJ up the old Broncos country.
Oh, that's right. So the Broncos, I'm sure everybody's heard, putting up a 70 spot with just a few points away from setting the all-time NFL record
And they
at Mile High.
Yeah, and they could have done it, but he chose to take a kneel there
I mean-
at the end. Well, I think they scored like two or three touchdowns with their backups in.
Yeah, well, they had two, both Mostert and Ashai, I think it might be, their backup. Both running backs scored 4 touchdowns each.
Right.
And then Tyreek had 2.
God.
So,
Just absolute mollywop the fuck out of him.
I mean, I don't even think I can find that on a book anywhere. You know, Broncos minus 41 or 49 or whatever the hell it was. So
Right.
You're not going to find it.
No,
I
absolutely not.
mean, you'd be getting like plus 20,000 on that. So,
got some more for him, and they deserve it. Like,
oh, absolutely.
especially.
Well, you got to get the helmet in there. That's one of
Yeah.
my that's going to be an all timer for me. Broncos changing the logo. That's an old veiny bastard.
Right.
He just used to draw dicks. I kept it in this lunchbox.
Yeah, they deserve it. I mean, trade a first round pick for a coach that your team's quitting on in week 3.
Not to mention the trade and the contract that you gave Russell Wilson that's
Oh, but-
really taken a huge hit on the Broncos next year at least. I
Yeah.
mean, and then it's just going to increase from there.
Where's all the conversation about the worst trade in NFL history?
Yeah.
At?
Exactly.
You
Thank
know,
you.
we traded for a guy in his prime. They traded for let's ride.
That's right. The guy,
And they traded another first round pick for a freaking coach.
right?
Like I said, who quit? The team quit on it in week 3. And did they punt like at all in that game?
I don't know. I didn't look at the actual breakdown of it and see if there was any punts. That would have been funny to see if they, you know, they should have had. There should have been more. Well, I don't know though. I mean, 9 touchdowns, right? No, 10 touchdowns. You got to figure that's close to the limit of possessions.
Has to be 10
I mean,
drives.
10 or 11, 12 in there. So there's no field goals. So the Dolphins may have had to punt once, maybe. I
Maybe.
mean, I don't know.
Depending on how fast those
And how
scoring
fast?
drives were.
Correct. They could have been more than that, but woof. Oh yeah, I love that one too. So good, so good. So
That's right.
the other, so I'm never going to get off this wagon, but the Ohio State Buckeyes are now 6-0 against the Fighting Irish. Last Saturday night, I know we're like a week late on this, but Ohio State on a bye this week. Rudy, an absolute trash movie. So the Buckeyes scored. Probably got outplayed in the second half of that game, I would say. But yeah, they scored on the final play of the game, scored a touchdown.
Yeah, and that was, that last drive Ohio State had, it was kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, he made some good throws to take him down the field and score.
Right.
But also there was a couple where one should have been picked off.
They should have definitely been picked off.
Like, Notre Dame played a hell of a game.
They did. They did.
And, offensively, Ohio State's still figuring it out.
Yeah. Or is Notre Dame's defense pretty good?
I think it's both. I definitely do think it's both.
I think we're going to find out today, too, because Notre Dame goes and plays at Duke today. So Duke is ranked pretty high themselves. I think they're ranked 17 against Notre Dame 11. So we'll find out a little bit today, too, because that Duke offense is actually pretty decent. So maybe they just have a really good defense.
I think that probably some of it, but at the same time, when you go play Michigan, you're going to have to play better than that.
Yeah. Well, and then I saw somebody today, I think it might have been Joel Klatt was talking about this too earlier this week, that basically Notre Dame was playing the kind of defense that Michigan plays against us.
Mm-hmm.
Except that Kyle McCord came alive. I mean, you got to give it to him. Whether, the pick didn't happen, and that it should have been picked off, I agree. Would have ended the game.
Yep.
But it didn't happen. You definitely have to feel better moving forward that Kyle McCord's the dude.
I think he definitely has to have some confidence.
That's got to be a huge confidence builder.
I think it helps too. You got a bye week after that game.
Yep. Then we play Maryland, which is really Maryland's no joke. I mean,
no, but that's a team you should beat by 2 or 3 scores.
Should be, and they play at our place too, where we usually have a kind of a shit history of running it close with Maryland at Maryland.
Right.
But they're the Baltimore Ravens 2.0, so fuck them.
All right.
So yeah, by this week, but yeah, the Ohio State just an absolutely great win. Oh, and I'm sure everybody saw the video of Ryan Day basically coming on his Lou Holtz. And that old fuck.
Can someone please explain to me? I've heard that Lou Holtz is somehow this great motivator. How the fuck can you hear that guy talk and take it seriously?
I mean, they had to wheel him up on his fucking recliner. They had to install casters on the bottoms of that to get him up on College game day.
What? I mean, 30 years ago when he was at Notre Dame.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Whether you feel it was appropriate for Ryan Day to call Lou Holtz out, especially at the end of the game, I like the fact that Ryan Day had some fire in his belly. And the fire showed I think he knew what he was doing there.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had his guys back.
Yeah.
Well, he's coaching for his job this year, I think.
I think he might be too.
It's
sad to say that. It's sad to say that. I know he has a great record winning percentage-wise, but if you're not beating Michigan, man.
Right. Yeah, you only get so many bites at the apple.
Yeah, this isn't the John Cooper years.
No.
Okay, you have to beat Michigan.
Especially after we dominated them for two decades.
Yep.
So.
Even though I still think, we probably should have went to the national title game and walked through that this last season.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's...
You got any problem with Ryan Day calling Lou Holtz out there at all?
No.
Not at all.
Okay.
Lou Holtz is a big 86-year-old man, if you want to say that. He's an old boy, so he can handle it.
Well, if he wants to call us soft or whatever, then that's what he gets.
That's fine. Absolutely. Basically saying that, we are... The reason we lose the big games is because we're soft. Like we predicted, of course, that Notre Dame was going to beat us in that game, and they could have. Michigan, the last 2 years of losses because we're soft. And Ryan Day just called his old ass out on it.
Right.
So,
we do need to run the football better. Been waiting for that for 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Here's the other one, too. You got the video up for this. Of course, this was Thursday night. This was 2 nights ago. Detroit Lions went to Lambeau. Jordan Love as the quarterback. Everybody's saying, is it possible that, Green Bay could get another stud quarterback that's been sitting on the bench? Maybe Green Bay's doing it right. But anyway, so Amon-Ra, St. Brown, goes ahead and scores. Very first score for Detroit, 7-3. And then in the midst of all this was caught on camera that there was a Cheesehead fan they decided to pour her $20 16-ounce Miller Lite on Amon-Ra as he did a Lambeau Leap. Go ahead.
Hell yeah.
Amon-Ra has no idea what the hell's going on. I'm like, yeah, okay, lady.
Dude, he is so good.
He
Amon-Ra
is
St.
good.
Brown. And
He is
we
good.
drafted fucking Schwartz over that guy.
I know. It's not hard to believe. A lot of teams drafted.
Yeah, I mean, he was
drafted guys
back there.
over Amon-Ra.
But he is really, he's a stud.
He is. He is.
I'm happy for Detroit. I think they definitely win that division this year.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, the rest of that division is absolute garbage.
Yeah, the only
And you got the Vikings, and they're 0-3 right now.
I mean, and they just have to outscore everyone,
Right.
and that's tough.
Because that defense is so fucking old.
Yeah.
They're not stopping anybody.
No, and we got the two best players from that defense.
Yeah.
So
Yes, absolutely.
from last year,
So, yeah.
that's going to be rough sledding for Minnesota. I think they'll be lucky to finish over 500, even in the NFC. Green Bay, they'll be in every game just because of that defense. And I don't. Jordan Love's not horrible, but he's not going to win you a lot of games.
Yeah, he definitely had a little bit better second half because I watched the entire game. But, oh, by the way, you got the Jordan Love one up there. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
What did I put in the chat? So this was good. Jordan Love winning me some money on DraftKings, though. And it's so appropriate. I mean, Oscar the Trash Man.
I heart trash.
Yeah. I mean, just go ahead and going over the passing totals on pure trash with Jalen Reed. Great. Thanks, Jordan Love. All right. Anything else you want to go ahead and add
No.
to the segment this week? So those are your best bets for the weekend. I haven't looked, or for Sunday, I haven't looked at the Sunday slate that close.
I think best bets.
The Browns, right?
Browns minus 2.5. It's not going to be
Yeah,
that close.
and it wouldn't mean, and I know, and we thought about that with Pittsburgh. Of course, this one's at Cleveland, so we definitely have that going for us. And with how banged up, now on the offensive side of the ball, they're still kind of banged up. They're getting some players back on the defense, but you just said they got Oweh's out, right?
Yeah, both of their edge guys are out.
Yeah, so I mean, you could definitely see where.
Unless Jadeveon Clowney has the game of his career.
Yeah, he has a game since he was at South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
He goes ahead and tackles some Michigan asshole in the backfield.
Yeah.
And he only did it once. So
Right.
It was a bowl game, though.
But, 2.5.
2.5 is... We said, I know, I'd hate to jinx it, but man. Anyway, that line gets over 3. 3.5. I can see the Sharps betting the Browns.
I'm surprised it hasn't moved.
I didn't look at it yet today. I know it was 2.5.
If you can get it at 2.5, that's definitely...
Oh, yeah. 2.5, you should
3,
be all over that.
3, hell, if it's 20-10 and they score late, then it's going to piss you off. I get maybe not doing that, but...
Right.
I just have... With the way the offense played last week, Deshaun looked like Deshaun, hit people in stride, a lot of great balls down the field. I wish we had some tape to review because I watched some of his tape reviews.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't scrape up for us this week.
Yeah, that was.
But we'll try to go ahead and get some of that for next week.
Like he's one that can hit guys running away from him. That was the big thing when we had Baker here was couldn't hit guys going down the field. It always had to be the numbers, just like with Lamar. He's a better quarterback when he can hit people that's facing him than he is with people with their backs to him. He hit DPJ on a beautiful ball on the side. Cooper with 2 or 3 different ones down the field.
Sure.
Throwing the ball great over the middle of the field. Really wasn't that much like erratic throws. Like they were all basically where they should be.
Sure.
You're not going to be perfect accuracy-wise on every throw. But, to only miss 6 of them and a couple of them were throwaways.
All right, so I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at these spreads right now. I heard a great stat on this one. Jaguars coming off that shit game against Houston last week in London. I have early game tomorrow morning.
So it's a home game?
Yeah, basically for the Jaguars, mate. Yeah, they're going to. So they're -3 right now. I really don't have any problems with moving that line up to 6.5. Even though I don't have any problem.
You don't like Atlanta in that
number? I don't like Atlanta in that game. I
don't like Desmond Ridder, but
Desmond Ridder is he's got numbers too that maybe as bad as Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He's got bad ones, and they've had pretty good defensive numbers. But last week, they went to Detroit, and I think they came back.
It's a get-right game for Jacksonville?
I do. That's my feeling on that. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville wins by 10. Let's see. You got the Bengals at the Titans. Heard a great stat on Cowherd the other day. So their head coach, Vrabel, he is like 28-28, 500, not even against the spread as an underdog as head coach. He's 28-28. So
that's a tough game because that could be a game where Burrow gets right, but if he can't throw against Tennessee, then
in Cincinnati too. I mean,
and they don't ever really even try to run the ball, so I don't think that's going to be a factor.
Yeah, Cincinnati definitely has. They have problems with the Titans too. I mean, let's just go ahead and put that out there. Oh, look at that! The Browns are now down to only 1.5. That's a weird one. Njoku is not worth a full point. I'm going to tell you that.
No,
that's strange to me.
Unless they know something about Deshaun, we don't. He said he's playing, so
right.
I don't know.
There's your Bills minus 2.5.
If you can get that at 1.5, I'd take that immediately.
Yeah, I might just get on that right away.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
believe
gonna be part of my parlay.
I mean, I thought it'd be 3, and I wouldn't have been surprised if it went to 3.5. Let's see, Eagles at home against Washington. That could be a sneaky one there. I mean, that could be
Washington did get slumped last week.
They did, but that could be kind of a stay away game for me. I don't like that. I don't like. If anything, I probably would lean on Commanders plus the 9.
Is it 9 now?
Yeah, it's at 9.
It was 8. Oh,
it's at 9.
It's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
I hate taking all those points.
That's a lot of points. Carolina plus 4.5 at home against the Vikings. Yeah, that's kind of a stay away for me. Although I heard Bryce Young's coming back, so actually I might just go ahead and swallow the points with the Vikings there. Let's see. Steelers minus 3 at Houston. They're favored on the road at Houston. So C.J. Stroud last week, you figure Mike Tomlin being the coach that he is, preparing. He's still got a rookie quarterback in Houston.
It would be hard for me to pick against Pittsburgh.
It would, especially Houston at home. Who cares?
I'd probably just stay away from that because I could see CJ having a game.
I could. Yeah, you could. Let's see. Buccaneers plus 3.5 at the Saints.
I'm taking New Orleans.
Are you? With Jameis Winston?
Yep.
Really? All right.
Just their defense is going to contain Baker.
And this is the absolute strangest one of the week. Denver, who just got railed by the Dolphins,
are somehow favorites.
They're favored on the road at Chicago, and that line has actually moved in the Broncos' favor. It was at 3, now it's at 3.5.
I mean, I do trust Russ Wilson more than Justin Fields. But I'm not betting that game. Who the hell knows what happens there? Because Denver could just go out there flat. They
could.
I don't know.
We saw and that's great. A great way to handicap that would be remember how bad their first few games were at the beginning of the season last year? And it's one of them in particular was, I think it was a Thursday night game with the Colts. They ended up being like an 11-10 win or something, and how bad it was offensively. And that was at home. So, boy, that's a tough one there. Rams minus 1. Looks like Richardson may be back, the rookie for the Colts. At Indy, Rams favored by 1 in that game.
It's a hard one to pick, too.
I think I would still kind of lean chalk there and take the Rams going against Richardson, just coming off injury, rookie season. Aaron Donald, the boys up in that front. I mean, and then, Moss, say what you want about Moss or whoever, but they're running against Aaron Donald.
Well, I mean, Indy's got a good defense, too. And,
yeah, they do.
LA's kind of a one-trick pony.
Yeah, that's true. Raiders plus 4.5 against the Chargers.
Is the Chargers going to charge her?
Right. That's kind of a stay away game for me too. I mean,
Yeah.
the Chargers should walk away with that one easily. So you got
all the talent on that defense.
Jimmy G in concussion last week, coming off.
Is he cleared?
I haven't heard yet, but if he's coming off concussion protocol, and then it's kind of like,
Who's their backup? Is it
the Chargers?
They had the backup that played for us a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Who the backup is there?
He almost beat the Raiders in that
Because
Sunday night game or whatever it was.
Stidham went to Denver. So
yeah, it's not Stidham. It's
boy, oh boy.
Well, he was here.
Brian Hoyer.
No.
And then who's Brian Hoyer backing up? I thought it was him.
I thought he's back in New England.
Oh, is he? Look that up real quick. See where I thought for sure that Hoyer is maybe his backup there, which would make sense. I mean, Josh McDaniels, how big of a shit show is that guy? So now you got Chandler, who they just cut today.
It is Hoyer. You're right.
Yeah, it's Hoyer.
I thought they had the backup we had in 21.
So Jimmy G, so Hoyer's 37. I think I read that. So he's 37. If he does have to take the start, which Jimmy G, it looked like he was leaning towards the start.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Hoyer's, he can go out there and play.
Here's a big one. Arizona Cardinals plus 14 at the Niners.
It's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. Here's the problem that I have with that. Regardless of in recency bias, you kind of think to yourself, well, Arizona just made the Dallas defense look like shit. Okay? There's two ways to think about this. Was that their Super Bowl of the year, and then they have to play even better defense, or at least as good of a defense in the Niners, and they have to play that one away. Okay? But then you also think, well, this is also a divisional game. So
I wouldn't say a trap. I wouldn't say a trap game, but it's
definitely tough.
You would think it'd be closer than it would be, but San Fran's the real deal. I'm not betting that.
Yeah,
because I'm going to be pissed either way.
Right. I would say, quite honestly, I wouldn't mind getting that down to like a 7-point teaser and getting the Niners -7. If you could get that, of course, you're going to have some negative juice on that. But I would say Niners there with a teaser.
Even 10.5 would be. I would
10.5. They went ahead and they smacked the Giants out there. A week or so back, but that wasn't a divisional game. We're not really sure if the Giants are any better than Arizona Cardinals at this point.
Right.
We know their defense isn't good.
Right.
It's bad. So, and their offense isn't good. I mean, the Giants got two problems. Their offense is anemic.
Right.
And their
is
defense
that the worst
isn't
contract
good.
in NFL history?
Daniel Jones? I don't know, man.
And that's basically what people
Time will tell.
That's what people wanted us to do with Baker. Pay him a shit ton of money.
Yep. Patriots +6 at Dallas. Dallas only 6-point favorites against the Patriots.
I'm taking that.
Yeah, Patriots can't score.
No.
Okay, of course we didn't think Arizona was going to score that well against Dallas, but this one's at home for
Dobbs.
Dallas.
Is a mobile quarterback. I think that helped him out in that game.
Right. I don't think it's helping him out against Micah Parsons.
Well, it did last week.
Or I mean, not Dobbs, Mac Jones.
Oh yeah,
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, not being a mobile quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Mac
hit a
Jones
lot.
sucks.
Right.
Okay, if they win this game, it's going to be because this game is like 16-10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or it's 13-10.
If Dak throws 4 interceptions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, which could happen because Belichick's scheming up the defense, and I'm sure he's had this one circled on his calendar. Regardless, I mean, he's going to be like, just the next game.
Oh,
Yeah, bullshit.
Guys,
Bullshit.
you just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was a great video. So Chiefs on the road, though, Sunday night. This was supposed to be a great matchup with Aaron Rodgers that was already scheduled with the NFL. So
Right.
Chiefs -9 at the Jets. Taylor Swift probably coming to this one. I mean, it's in New York. It's kind of a major entertainment hub. She'll probably be there.
The Jets' defense is probably going to make it closer than it should be.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, how did the Jets score?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
How did the Jets score? They took that shellacking in Dallas, before Dallas lost last week. At home, of course, you want to talk about a Super Bowl game. This is it for the Jets right here. Because they're not winning that division.
No.
They're probably they're not going to be 500.
No.
Okay, so This is going to be everybody in attendance. Fireman Dan's going to be there in his fucking helmet, whatever. I mean, this is going to be sold out.
And at this point,
regardless
if
of Zach Wilson,
if Zach Wilson goes out there and plays like trash again, do you bench him for whoever else they got there?
I don't even know who else they have on that depth chart. I know there's been some quarterbacks that said, "Hey, I'll come and play for you." My point is this: I know one of those quarterbacks is Carson Wentz. Go sign the guy. The guy might throw as many picks as he does touchdowns, but at least he's going to throw some touchdowns.
He's going to give you some juice.
Yeah, something. I mean, the guy's not ancient.
No,
I know. Matt Ryan
20,
said that he was also
was he in the same draft as Deshaun.
I think Wentz was
Maybe
2017, wasn't it, or 2016, 16? Because he had that MVP year that he had going on before he got hurt against the Rams, and then
They
Big
won the
Dick
Super
Nick
Bowl.
came in.
Yeah.
Ended up running with Jim Schwartz.
Right.
Running that. So.
Yeah, I would. Why would you not? He's got more upside than Zach Wilson ever will have.
Yeah. And then,
And like I said, they're not going to win anyway.
Monday night, this is kind of a shit show here. Something on this line doesn't feel right to me either.
Oh, yeah.
Seahawks coming all the way to the East Coast, though. That's what you got going on here. The Giants only 2-point dogs against the Seahawks right now.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
I am too. I think I might just get on that one early. That one might be my best bet of the
I think
weekend.
they're still getting shit from that shitty performance they had week 1 against the Rams.
Yeah.
But the Seattle's going to be a playoff team.
I mean, the only thing about it is I don't like – let me ask you this. If the Giants were going West Coast, they're playing at the Seahawks.
It's going to be 7.5.
It should be.
Yeah.
So where's the other couple points coming from? So if you say that it's a neutral field, okay, so basically you're saying that the Seattle is only 5 points better than the Giants on a neutral. At home, you just said it's 7.5. That right there should tell you should get on the Seahawks and ride it.
Right.
That's kind of my opinion.
At least,
might be my best bet.
At least
of the
6.5.
Yeah, right. But it's not. If you take, even if you give a point for West Coast, you're still a point short.
I think if you want to do a parlay, do a 3, do Browns, Dolphins, Seahawks.
Okay. So you're taking the Dolphins dog, and what's plus 2.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Browns down to 1.5. And then you're go ahead and take that Seahawks game.
Yep, -2.
-2.
And the Jets, I think you could say they're going to win. The Chiefs are going to win by 9.
Yeah. Now you could also do what's called they have offered this on DraftKings. Thanks, Mark Wade. But they offered this on DraftKings. Didn't know it till last week. But you actually do what's called a 4-team monster parlay, monster teaser. I'm sorry, where it's 4 teams, no less than 4. And no more than 4, and you can get a 13-point teaser on that. So basically, that's going to take the Chiefs to +4.
So you could put that on any game?
You can put it on any 4 games you want. It's called a monster teaser. Of course, last week I got fucked because I put it on Dallas. I had fucking Dallas even. I had Dallas even.
So they just had to win.
They just had to win. And you saw how that turned out. Now, the other problem with that one is like, to get the juice off of that, I mean, you got to put up a good chunk of money otherwise, because you're getting, you're getting some negative juice there. So, which, kind of sucks. But.
Too bad you didn't put that on the Dolphins.
Right.
Or technically put it on the Broncos.
That still wouldn't have mattered. Because the Broncos, what were they in that game? I can't remember what the line was in that game, but it wasn't 50.
It was probably 12.5, I think.
Yeah.
Or
So, I mean, even still, it's 25.5. If you're giving me the Broncos and 25.5, where the fuck it is, I'm taking the Broncos and I'm losing my ass.
Right.
So, all right. So that basically covers about everything. Anything else to add? That was kind of just off the cuff there. Best bets of the weekend.
Nope.
What are you thinking? Nothing?
Cooper anytime score.
Cooper anytime score. I'm going. I wonder what kind of money I can get on Akins.
It's probably plus 550.
It probably at least. I'm going to go ahead and look
Maybe
at that
850.
real quick. I can look at it real quick. Let's see what we can get on anytime touchdown score for Browns.
I wonder if that changed at all because Njoku may not play.
It might have for sure. Anytime touchdown scorer. Let's see here. Jerome Ford, obviously the favorite. Lamar Jackson.
Kareem Hunt plus 1,200. That would be a good one.
That's a really good one.
That-
no, that's first touchdown scorer.
Oh, okay. First touchdown.
I don't like that. But
No,
let's
I
look
don't-
down
I
here,
never
though.
wanna
He's
bet
still
that
Harrison Bryant's plus 350. Pierre Strong, I don't think that's a bad one there, seeing how he scored. Plus 500. Cleveland Browns defense plus 800 anytime touchdown.
Anytime touchdown?
Anytime touchdown score, the Browns.
I'd want better odds than that.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Throw $5 on it.
Akins, though, plus 800.
Is it 800?
800.
Okay.
So, actually, is Njoku even on the board? Yeah, Njoku's on here at plus 350. So, we don't really know if he's going to play or not. So, it kind of surprises me a little bit, though, that it's Jerome Ford is the favorite. Of course, you don't know where the ball's going to go, but then it's Lamar Jackson and Gus Edwards are the next two favorites in that game for anytime touchdown score. That's kind of crazy to me, really. It really is. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see that defensive score for the touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or, defensive score for the Browns.
I'll be
for
there
a
for it, so
touchdown.
that-
I might just throw a little bit on that.
That would definitely, the place would explode.
Look at this one. Now, this is interesting, though. Marquise Goodwin getting plus 1,700 for a touchdown. Hasn't touched the ball yet this season. Hasn't caught one, right?
Mhm.
He hasn't even had a catch. But that's pretty good. I mean, you're getting 17.
I think he gets a few targets.
You're getting $17 to the one on that. So that might be worth sprinkling a couple bucks on. You know,
Right.
what the hell? So,
All right.
sounds good. No touchdown score is now locked up, but it was right around the plus 1,300 mark. Fuck that. I'm not betting that. I'm not betting that shit. Then I have to root against no touchdown for the Browns.
Right.
All right. I guess it's going to do it for us. Hopefully, we get some good shit with that TikTok there
Right.
and on YouTube. I was laughing before Ryan got here today because I just got done
It was
making
perfect.
it. And yeah, please, get over to TikTok and help us out too. Really appreciate that. That's already in a short form on YouTube as well. Remember to go ahead on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. Especially go ahead and follow us. Share this with your friends. What do you think?
Yep.
Sharing is good. Sharing is caring. I think we may go ahead and do another T-shirt giveaway here. Maybe on the bye week. What do you think?
Yeah.
The bye week would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
That would be a good one to go ahead and do that for. So.
We'll put some Facebook posts up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, anything else you want to add?
That'll be it.